What happened? Something starting.
Starting web event it was showing.
Okay. Okay. Now they have gone live. Okay.
Yes, sir. We are now live, and as soon as the attendees join us, we'll start with the last round and the leftover participants.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anybody is there right now?
No, sir, not yet. But the coordinating team and anchor will update you.
Okay.
There are a few participants that are waiting. I'll check their team codes and then we can proceed further.
Yes. Whatever team is whenever available, let us just take it up. That's all.
Sure, sir.
Yes, sir. You were asking me something.
Yeah. How is your practice going on?
So good, sir. During these Corona times, we are also practicing online only. What about your classes? You are from which university, sir?
Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University.
Guru Gobind Singh University. Okay. So you teach law, sir? What do you teach there?
Yeah, I teach IPR LLM.
Okay, great. Sir, one of your student is my junior.
Who is that?
He's working in my chamber. His name is Manan Kheda.
Okay, Manan, weekend LLM he did, I think.
I don't know, sir. He's just an LM, so he's working with me.
Okay. He was in, I think, last year or last year batch.
He has been working with me for last 2-3 years now. 2 years.
Okay. Great, sir. Now it's like after this we have a class, and it's rescheduling the classes for many. It disturbs the flow also.
That is true. So how is the attendance in online classes, sir? Is it fairly good?
Attendance is like we need to understand the students' concerns also, because all students are students, and they can put any claim stating that no, we don't have good net connection. That is a technicality issue. Some of them are keep on joining and going back, keep on joining, and they claim that the technical issues. But as far as UGC is concerned, even MHRD has stated attendance shouldn't be a mandatory one.
Correct. So that's why they have their liberty.
Yeah. Once we have the offline, then only we can talk of attendance. Otherwise.
But then also say a proper class, because I think that there is no alternative to a physical, say, classroom or a physical hearing or physical attendance.
Yeah, but there is a digital divide. That's the problem in this country, because some of them are having access to net, some of them are not. Even in the rural areas, though we claim that there are good network,
but still there is difficulty. Yes.
There is difficulty. Some of my students are from Bhutan also.
Oh, great.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, we have team number 59, 58 and 61 with us.
Yeah.
With your due permission, we can proceed forward with any of your team.
Yeah.
So I think we can start with 58, then 59, 61.
Yeah.
So, okay. I'll admit the request of 58, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, sir. I request team 58, kindly raise your hand. I repeat, kindly raise your hand, team 58.
Please specify which of you are A and which.
Sir, for this round, we can strictly, follow the time limit.
Yes.
Their rebuttal should also in case if they don't exercise that, then we don't have to.
So that's why I was suggesting, sir, 2.5 minutes instead of 3 minutes.
That's against the rules of the.
Okay.
So, sir, this is slot 3.
So we have made admitted team 58 waiting for the. Yes, sir, they have arrived.
They were not able to.
I request the participants of team 58 kindly turn on your microphone and your cameras also.
Anchor, please ensure that you put them on focus when someone is speaking.
Sure, sir. I'll take care of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Team 58.
Once again, I repeat, team members of 58, kindly turn on your microphone and your cameras so that soon we can proceed further. Your both audio, that is the microphone and cameras, are not turned on yet. Kindly turn on. Yes, you are visible 58B but not audible. Kindly speak something.
Hello, sir.
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam. Your partner has, I think, he's some difficulty in joining, he or she.
Yes, sir. I will inform.
Participant 58A rejoined, but again we are unable to see and hear from his side. Kindly turn on your microphone and cameras.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah, now it's fine.
Perfect. So, with the permission of our judges, we can proceed forward.
Yeah.
If the participants are well aware with the fact, with the rules of the participation.
Yes, sir. We are.
So, can we proceed forward?
Yeah, please.
Thank you, sir.
Speak.
Yeah, go ahead. Because time starts now.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, judges. A very good afternoon to everyone present here. My teammate and other fellow and other teammates. So, speaker 1 of the 3 NDCO 58, speaking on the motion of the CAA, that Citizenship Amendment Act 2019. So, the Citizenship Amendment Act is what? First of all, it was amended by the Citizenship Amendment Act 1955. Citizenship Amendment Act has been amended 6 times in the whole era. Like it was amended in 1986. It was amended in 1992. It was amended in 2003, 2005, 2015, and now 2019. So what does the CAA say? CAA says that the illegal immigrants of the nation, those who came as refugees in India, would be liable to get the citizenship of India if they have come before 2014, 31st December. So this is on just the regard of the 6 communities, that is non-Muslims. Those are non-Muslims. That is Hindu. Those are Hindus, Parsis, Christians, Jains, Sikhs, and others. And one more, I am forgetting that name. I'm really sorry about it. So the communities, those who are related from the countries, that is Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. The amendment and the act says that the bill which has been passed are in the favor of the immigrants, those who are living in the country for the past several years, and those who are living in the era, those who are suffering from the persecution of their own countries may get the shelter, as the India already says that Atithi Deva Bhava. Atithi Deva Bhava means anyone who is needy, anyone who is asking for the shelter, and any guest is already is a god, and we should accept them as a god. So India is a country of the customs. India is a country of a culture. India is a country which gives. India is a country of giving. India doesn't take. India is a country of fraternity. As its preamble says, we the people, and we should give justice, and we should maintain the fraternity. We should maintain the familism and the humanism. So India is accepting by the CAA, they are giving the citizenship to the immigrants, those who were suffering the persecution in their own countries. Like if, like it has been criticized in the way that it has a discrimination and it is violating Article 14 of the Constitution. No, it is not violating Article 14 of the Constitution. First of all, my one topic is that Article 14 also gives some reasonable restrictions on some basis, some reasonable classification on some basis, and as the countries that the immigrants have came from were the Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. Those are the state religious countries. They have their own state religion, and that is Islam. So if Muslims are being offended and if Muslims are being resisted, that they cannot be the part of this amendment or this act. So it is just because the criticism have come that it is discriminatory. No, it is not discriminatory. It is just that the Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh are state religious country. They are Islamic and they have the more Muslim majority, and they cannot be restricted. They cannot be offended at any cost in their own country. And if they are being caused, then there are several cases. By case to case, it is differing in the India that they may get the that they may get the presence in their in India by showing some documents. And furtherly, illegal migrants are what? Those who have came with the improper documents, those who have come to India with illegal ways. They will get only the citizenship, and the communities are specified, and there's a reasonable classification under Article 14. Also, India possesses Article 19, that is freedom of speech, and they can speak for the suffering. First of all, second is Article 21, which speaks about right to life and personal liberty. And India is a country which maintains the secularism, which maintains the sanctity of everything. India is a country which maintains the culture and the customs too. So India is just going through the Article 21, which possesses right to life and personal liberty. And if anyone is a member of the country, anyone who is living in the India would not suffer any persecution regarding anything. India just want to say by the CAA that the people, those who are non-Muslims and those who are suffering persecution in their own countries, they may come to us, and if they have came to us, they may say. And if they have came to us, they may say that they can live here. And it is like it has, the time has been reduced.
Other speaker can talk.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir. I am speaker 2. So I am against the motion CAA. As my speaker one has already mentioned in it 2-3 times that secularism is maintained, and India is a country which is a very beautiful country which accepts everyone. I totally agree with this. When Swami Vivekananda went to Chicago, in his speech he said that India is a country which accepts everyone. So I say I totally agree with it. Accept everyone, every neighbor who needs help. But why this selective citizenship is given? Why, if you are saying that yes, who are mistreated, they can come to India, yes, please bring them. Why the Balochs and why the Hazaris of Pakistan and Afghanistan who are mistreated are not included in the Citizenship Amendment Act? Why Hindus and Sikhs of Sri Lanka are not included? Why the atheists, the people who do not believe in God, are left out? There are many classifications, the sexual minorities who are not included. Now, India is a country which believes that secularism is a basic thread of India, which maintain India into a very basic structure. So why it is violated? Why we are dividing Hindu and Muslim? Why we are doing religious disruption by this? Just my question is this, that if you are saying that secularism is maintained, then I'm sorry to say, no, this is just a divide and rule game. And if this is the whole criteria of this act, it will only destroy the beautiful nature of our country. By Citizenship Amendment Act, the basic structure of our constitution is violated. In Keshavanand Bharati case, it was decided, it was laid down that the basic structure of our constitution cannot be disrupted, cannot be amended. But our secularism, which is our fundamental right, in the preamble it is written in the first para, we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular and democratic republic. So why this secularism word, if you are saying that it is not violated, so why the people of Muslims are just left out from this CAA act? the resident requirements are reduced by CAA. How? The people who are Parsis, some people flee to Iraq. So the people who have flee to Iraq, when they come, if they want to be the resident of India, they have to wait for 11 years. And the people and the Parsis who flee to Afghanistan, they have to wait for
Okay.
6.
Time over.
Yes.
Just one clarification. You are A or B?
So I'm B.
You are
Against the motion.
Oh.
Against the motion.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You may leave.
Thanks a lot, Team 58.
Thank you
This
so much.
is Team 58.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now, sir, we have Team 59 with us. With your permission, can we allow them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry. I request Team 59, kindly raise your hand, so we'll let you in. Team 59, 3NDC 059. Team 3NDC 059. Perfect. So, sir, we have admitted both the participants of team code 059, and they'll join us soon.
59, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. '57 is not there. That means. Because when 58 was, participating in the debate, 57 used to join and leave the meeting.
Yes, sir, there was some error. We are working on it. But that time 58, team number 58 was participating, and now we have admitted team number 59, and they are with us.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And we request team number 059A, both participants A and B, kindly turn on your microphone and your cameras as soon as possible so we can proceed further. I repeat once again. Yes, you're audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
No visuals are there.
All right. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. So the other participant can also unmute and put the camera on.
Participant A of team code 059, kindly unmute yourself and turn on the camera. We are waiting for your response. Participant A, team code 059.
All right, I'll just make sure.
Madam,
59, how to do?
59A.
Please see the top of the screen. You will find one camera as well as the.
Perfect.
You have to unmute.
No, ma'am, you have not activated your mic. Please unmute yourself.
Am I audible now?
Yes. I hope both the speakers are aware of the rules and guidelines.
Just a second. Can you please tell us or inform us through chat when I have completed my 4 minutes and I'll allow my other speaker to come.
Let me tell you that there will be 2 slides. One will be of when you will be completed your 5 minutes. The slide will be it will say the 3 minutes remaining, and the other slide will be time up.
Okay.
Okay. So restrict yourself within those time limits, and please don't use any read out something from any other document or anything.
No other screen sharing, no other documents, nothing to be read out.
Okay.
Right.
So can I start, sir?
Please do, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Today I'm going to speak in favor of the motion that CAA is constitutionally valid. Before I make my argument in regards to the constitutionality of CAA, I would like to make a 360-degree view of the whole situation. When a person reads a constitution in isolation, he or she may be called a constitutionalist, but not in particular a constitutional realist, because you're truncating your scope of analysis, which is bound to affect your conclusion. So at this point of time, when we are considering CAA, it is impossible to ignore political, religious aspects. So coming directly to the parameters of constitutionality, we definitely have at hand Article 14 of the Constitution. So before jumping on to the conclusion that how categorization of 6 communities from 3 countries is valid within the ambit of Article 14, I'd like to deliberate upon the very same point that in various cases, Supreme Court of India has held that analysis of a particular situation have not to be a mathematical precision. In the very case, I clearly agree to the point that there are 2 bases, that is the intelligible differentia and the reasonable nexus that sought to be achieved for the very same. So a class has been created within this ambit itself. So we need to understand, when the government creates a class, there is always a certain set of class that has to feel excluded. Taking an example of reservation in our country. The reservation is for SC, ST, and there are a class of people that is general category that feels excluded from the very same category. There are also questions that can be put up from the opposition side, that a class definitely feels excluded, but why this class? We need to understand at this point of time, if that's being the case, then Tibetan, who have found sanctuary in India, are not the beneficiary of the present legislation. Also, the grounds on which the government has made such a decision is very important in order to judge the constitutionality of CAA. The first ground in itself is the religious persecution, the well-founded fear of religious persecution. So we have 2 types of communities who migrate from these 3 countries. One are the Bengali Hindus, Parsis, etc., which has been part of the very same legislation. They have the well-founded fear of persecution. But on the other hand, we have the set of communities who are migrants for very other reasons, or for the reasons apart from it. So it's a thin line of demarcation that we need to draw at this point of time between persecution and discrimination. So we have discrimination in these countries with other communities as well. But on the ground that the government has given citizenship amendment law or citizenship to these communities is well-founded fear of persecution in itself. Also, the principle of non-refoulement and various international conventions that we have at hand clearly states the very same point at this point of time. Apart from it, my argument largely lies on the fact that from where does the government derive the power? Part 2 of the Constitution of India deals with the very same aspect, and Article 11 gives the unfettered power to Parliament to make laws in regards to citizenship. So Parliament has the power to make laws in regard to exigencies, contingencies, ingress or egress. In very simple terms, I will tell that it is the sovereign who gets to decide who is going to enter the border of the country based on various considerations, from security considerations, from religious persecution grounds, or etc. Apart from it, we need to clearly understand, if we are taking into consideration the various ambits and the various notions, we need to clearly interpret these notions at this point of time. There are questions that can be put forth from the other side as well, that why not Sri Lankan Tamils, why not Rohingyas? But at this point of time, we need to understand that the situation in Sri Lanka or at that place is not as grave, and the government has other means itself. Government has already entered into contract with Sri Lanka and has already given citizenship to Sri Lankan Tamils a lot. If we look at statistics itself, the government have been trying to give them citizenship even to various other communities as well. So the prime situation at this point of time is in consideration for these 3 countries who have faced persecution from times immemorials in those 3 countries. We need to base our notions of constitution on the text of the document, not as opposed to the filters and the judgments and the arguments that the other people are going to make in that regard. We need to clearly see what is the ambit and the filter that the constitution is providing us at this point of time. So I'd now like my other participant to continue. Thank you.
Right, thank you. All right. May I start?
Yeah, please.
A very good morning to one and all present. For a moment, I want you all to imagine that you are sailing through the ocean in a boat. Suddenly, you hear cries for help, and you discover that two people have been left stranded in the middle of the ocean because their boat broke down. Now, any reasonable person would save them if they can, right? Or would you save one and leave the other on the pretext that they're a Muslim for them to wait for another boat to rescue them on the possibility that they might drown or be eaten by sharks in the meanwhile? A real manifestation of this analogy in the present scenario is the case of Assam, where the Citizenship Amendment Act was implemented. 20 lakh people were found to not have the adequate documents that were required to grant citizenship, while 15 lakh of them were granted citizenship under the Act. 5 lakh of people were not granted citizenship because they were Muslims, and they were hence essentially left stranded. So what happened to these 5 lakh people? They were detained in temporary camps in the state's prison, which are in very questionable conditions. And some of them have been reported to commit suicide because of the trauma of being declared stateless all of a sudden. And this is not all. This is only on the case of Assam. This particular legislation has also caused harm on the national scale. Let us analyze how. First of all, talking about the anti-CEA protests, which were nationwide and very widespread in nature. That very fact reflects that people understand that this particular legislation is discriminatory in nature, and religion cannot be a legitimate basis for deciding or granting citizenship to someone. Secondly, it also fostered communal sentiments because of the fact that the Muslim community, the Muslim citizens of India, would feel threatened that they are not being included in the act or being represented, even though they are one of the major religions of India, religions that are followed in India, and all other major religions in India that are followed have been included in the act. Secondly, it can lead to strained relations with the neighboring countries if these people are deported back to the countries of origin. And if these people are not accepted by these countries, it will lead to an international humanitarian crisis of statelessness. Thirdly, threat to national security. Now we know that if any person is able to prove that they are a Hindu, Muslim, a Hindu, Parsi, Jain, or Sikh or Christian, they will be able to get citizenship.
Your time is over, madam. What's your rebuttal?
All right, sir. My simple rebuttal to my opponent will be
No, only to the other one.
No, not you. The other side.
All right.
A.
So my rebuttal on this regard would be that we clearly need to understand what is the stand that has been made by the government, that this act is not for states, northeastern states, and they have excluded these states from the ambit itself. Secondly, on regards to the discrimination that has been put forth by my worthy opponent, we need to understand the well-founded fear of persecution in this regard. That is the prime basis.
Thank you, got it.
Thank
All
you.
right. May I reply to that?
No, thanks. You covered most of your counter in your presentation.
Sir, I missed one very major point. May I please reply? Which is a apt reply, because I think the time was not managed well and my thing was 4 minutes, right? So I would just like to reply to that by saying that the actual sufferers because of this legislation will be communities such as the Ahmadiyas, the Shias, the atheists, and the Rohingyas who will actually suffer due to this legislation, who are persecuted in the countries that have been given.
All right, thank you. Very well done.
Thank you. You may leave now. You please call the next team.
Coordinator, please see to the available team.
So next team with us is team number 060. I request the team members of 3NDC 060 kindly raise their hands. We'll let you in.
B is your partner audible to you? Is your partner audible to you? Yeah. Please try to. No, you're not audible.
Yes. So we are letting them in.
Turn your mic on. No, you're still not audible.
060.
57 is there?
Yes, sir, but only one participant is there and one is constantly
Okay.
getting removed
So
from
then
that
what
list.
about other one?
060 is there with us. They'll join in few seconds from now.
Okay.
So I suggest one more thing. Since they have a time frame, why don't you just display it a little earlier so that they can actually conclude? Give some warning to them. Like, for example, if you give 3 minutes slot or 2 minutes slot, just finish it a little early so that they respond. They take time to respond.
Someone, Simi Gautam, who is that? Who has?
These are the participants from team 060.
Yeah.
And we need to know who is participant A for the motion and participant B against the motion.
Let them in first, then we will see.
Yes, sir.
Why 58 has joined back again?
58 should go. (57) B says that he or she is there. So where's 57A?
We request the person 58B kindly leave the room.
Who is Simi Gautam? 57A is here. 57B is also here. So both of them can be let in.
Okay, sir. We'll let in 57, team 57 then.
57.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we have team 57 with us.
Yeah.
I repeat, kindly turn on your microphone and your videos also. Participant B, kindly turn on your audio and cameras.
Yeah, you are 57A.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are audible and the video. Kindly turn on your video, please. Perfect.
Okay.
Am I audible, right?
Start.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me when to start.
Yeah, please start.
In the very beginning, I would like to remind this House, this Citizenship Amendment Bill was passed by both houses of the Parliament with a clear majority, signed by the President without any intervention from the Supreme Court. This is the technical process of constitutionally passing a bill and making it into an act. The Parliament is a democratic body and this act of passing the CAA is the will of the democracy. But this will is not absolute, as the Supreme Court has the right to curb it if it sees any law is going against the basic features of the Constitution. But the lack of it exercising this power clearly tells us that even the supreme legal authority of our country thinks the CAA is not unconstitutional. The Citizenship Amendment Act will grant citizenship to the immigrants who are coming in from Pakistan, Afghanistan and
If you read
Bangladesh.
anything, we will disqualify you.
I am not reading, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I am looking at the points.
Okay.
And are of the religion of Buddhism, Jain, Hindu, Sikh, Parsi or Christian have fled due to religious persecution or the fear of it and have come into this country since 31st December 2014 or before. Now, India shares a land border with all these three countries, and all these countries have identified Islam to be the state religion. And the people of the six faiths mentioned above are the religious minorities in these countries. These immigrants have been coming in India since the partition, and coming in this due to this exact religious persecution. But we could not provide them with citizenship earlier due to the earlier immigration laws, but earlier laws, and they would either be detained or deported, which would often lead them to their deaths or often even worse. This act amended the definition of the word immigration, and its objective is the protection of the religiously persecuted minorities, giving them a safe place to reside, as they are clearly the victims here and not the criminals. Now let's talk about the secular aspect of our constitution. Secularism means a state is completely separated from religion, but our constitution has allowed extensive interference of state in religious matters. India does not have any uniform civil code. India's personal laws on matters such as marriage, alimony, divorce, and inheritance varies from an individual's religion. Therefore, it is very clear that we have existing laws and practices which are not completely secular yet constitutionally approved. Also, understand, even though Articles 14 to 18 mention equality, our constitution is more focused on the principle of equity, which means that only judging people equally when they stand on equal footing, which is why we have reservations. And Article 14 and the Supreme Court have time and again allowed reasonable classifications, as seen in the landmark judgment of Bhag Singh versus Commissioner Jalandhar Division, based upon intelligible differentia. So the Muslims coming in India from all these countries cannot be treated equally as the minorities, as all these three countries have a Muslim majority, and the chances of them being persecuted on the grounds of religion is very less. I will conclude my side by saying one act cannot solve all the problems, and even if this Citizenship Amendment Act might not be perfect, but definitely is the need of the hour and open to future amendments. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by going back to the Constitution itself. Article 5 of the Indian Constitution, which broadly defines the nature of citizenship in India, has the principle of jus soli, that is, citizenship which is based on residency and birth. Although this has been diluted over time, it is the first time in Indian history that citizenship is being given on the basis of religious classification. Article 14 of the Constitution, which talks about equality before law, makes an obligation for the state to treat everybody equally, irrespective of whether they are citizens or not. Therefore, it is pertinent to note that this article also includes people who are illegal immigrants who are residing within the dominion of the territory of India. CAA violates Article 14 of the Constitution because it basically treats people situated equally, unequally, right? Although Article 14, as pointed out by the opposition, has some reasonable classification.
I think he has left the room because of some connection issue, is it?
Sir, I think the speaker got disconnected because of the connectivity issue. His voice was also cracking in between.
Correct. So 57B.
Coordinator, can you please see to it? Can you please reconnect with the speaker number 2 or?
57A.
There is no request from 57B for the reconnection. And as per the timing, I think 2 minutes only left. It's 2:36, and on 2:38 their time will get over.
Give him 1 or 2 minutes. Provided he joins.
Can you ask your partner, speaker number 1, can you ask a partner to rejoin, because we don't have much time. Judges also have time constraints also.
He's saying I am here.
That was the previous message.
Okay.
Yeah, he has joined back now. The remaining 2 minutes may be utilized by him now. Right?
Join.
Participant B, kindly turn on your microphone and your camera, please.
No, I think.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Please go ahead. Go ahead. In the meantime, you may try.
Yes. So how much did you hear, sir? Up to how much?
In the meantime, you may
You do one thing. Yeah, 1 minute left. Wind up your argument, whatever
Any
you have.
exceptions to Article?
Exceptions.
Okay.
Start
Any
from-
exceptions to Article 14 must have a legitimate state aim. It must qualify the intelligible differentia bar, and it must have a rational nexus, right? But the objective which was stated by the government to prosecute religiously prosecuted minorities does not qualify, because it takes away the Ahmadiyas from Pakistan, Hazaras from Afghanistan. If it is to include neighboring countries, then neighboring countries such as Myanmar and Sri Lanka are not being included, which also has Rohingya Muslims and Hindu Tamils being prosecuted against, right? If it is to include only British Indian territories, then why include Afghanistan? And if it is to only include territories which has a state religion, then this does not include Sri Lanka, which also has a state religion of Buddhism. So what I am trying to say is that there is no rational nexus between this class legislation which has been formed through the process of intelligible differentia, because and that is why I'm very proud to oppose this motion. This motion, along with NRC, violates the entire encroaches upon the secular nature of the Indian Constitution, because NRC by its very nature requires heavy documentation over multiple generations, right?
Sir, your time is over.
Okay, let me just finish.
Yeah. NRC
is supposed to filter out illegal immigrants, whereas CAA provides a backdoor entry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
This is why I'm very proud to oppose this motion.
That's good. Very good. Okay. Sir, any questions you have?
Nothing, sir. That's fine.
Okay. Do you have to say something? 7A, oppose it? No, then close them.
Yeah, you may leave the meeting now.
You may leave the room.
Thank you.
Anchor or
Thank you,
coordinator,
sir.
please look for the next.
Yes, sir. So next we have team number 60 with us.
Yeah.
Team 060, 3NDC 060, A and B.
Yeah, please start with them.
I request both the members to kindly raise their hand so that we can let you in soon.
Look
Team
for-
code 060.
Look for 61 also.
Yeah.
Even 61 is there, then we can finish it up.
So we have one member from team 60. I also request team members of team 61, 061, kindly raise your hand.
I see two members asking Bhavana and Praful. They are from which team?
Sir, Praful is from team number 060.
Simi and Praful are in one team.
Yes, sir. So, with your permission.
Yeah, sir, please.
Sure, sir. मुझे दिख ही नहीं रहा. So, अभी चल जा रहा है. नहीं कुछ भी नहीं चल रहा. कुछ दिख ही नहीं रहा.
As per the previous chat, they are in room 60.
Okay, if 60 is not available, what about 61?
60, I think they have admitted now.
Okay, but I can't see them on the screen.
They are going to join it. Am I right?
Yes, please come.
Praful is back and Simi is not. Simi.
So you guys are coordinating this event from your home or from your university?
No, sir. We are sitting in the college campus only.
Oh, अच्छा.
Sir, we are very much satisfied coming to college. We are willing to come daily.
I know. After sitting at home for such a long time.
So
Yes, sir.
what I do, I admit this, accept Praful and Simi. Now let's see whether they are able to join here or not. They raise the hand. I clicked on the tick mark. You please submit them if they are there.
The admitting member, they have also left the room.
Actually, this is very unique system. The platform is designed in a unique way. Anyway, it's good.
What happened? Either of the team, 60 or 61, दोनों में से कोई भी चलेगा भाई.
Is waiting. Please, they have mentioned their names. They have not mentioned the team's name. It was their prior guideline to mention their team name.
I'm here only, sir. Just a minute. I'm here only.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
So we are waiting because the server has got down.
I can wait, but I think sir has a class from 3 o'clock. He's a faculty, na? He's a professor.
Yes, sir.
Sir has to teach his class. Gaurav Kumar is also here. Gaurav.
Sir Gaurav is from team 061 and Sanjana is also from team 061.
Hello, admit both of them?
Sure, sir.
We can start now.
61 ले लेते हैं और क्या?
Yes.
So you guys stay in hostel in your college or you are off campus people?
No, sir. We are normal, not hostel. We are not having hostel in the campus, but we are the resident of Delhi only.
Okay,
So we.
Gaurav Kumar is here and Praful.
I request both the participants kindly turn on your microphone and your video cameras also.
So these Gaurav and Praful are from the same team, 61.
He is also waiting.
No, sir. Praful is not from my team.
Praful is not from your team, Gaurav.
Yes, sir. Maybe he's from 60.
So where is your partner, Gaurav?
So she's joining it.
What is the name of your partner?
Sanjana Kotwani.
Also, she's in the waiting. Ask her to join.
Sir, Praful has joined here.
Praful, what is your partner's name? Gaurav Kumar. Can you hear me, Gaurav?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
I have admitted Sanjana Kotwani also, but she cannot be seen here. Administration, where are you? So now both of you are here. Please turn on your camera, both of you, and your microphone also.
Yes,
I
sir.
can see you. I can see you, Gaurav Kumar. I cannot see your friend, Miss Sanjana. Your team code what?
61.
So why have you not written your team code? You were supposed to write as per the rules.
Oh no, sir. I'm not aware of the rules. Actually,
You're
I
not
have
aware
written.
of the you're
Actually,
participating.
actually, I have written my name, Gaurav Kumar.
Why you are supposed to write your team code? Ask your friend to unmute her camera and your microphone.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
So both of you are here.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So who is speaking for and who is speaking against? How do I say who is A and who is B?
Sir, I am B. I speak in favor.
All right. So who is speaking in favor? Please, sir. You are not audible, sir.
Who is A?
Yes, sir.
That's the confusion now.
Miss Sanjana Kotwani is A.
Sir, I am A, but I'm speaking for again.
Go ahead. Please cap the mute.
Okay. So who is speaking for? Should start. Gaurav Kumar, please start.
Okay, sir. Respected judges and my dear friends.
One more thing, no reading from here and there and no references. Your marks will be
sir. Okay, sir.
Please start.
Respected judges and my dear friends, I am here to speak in favor of the motion. This was one land divided about 72 years ago. Terrible thing happened. Nearly 600 to 700,000 people got killed. 300 million people migrated from both the sides, going through enormous sufferings. And the other two parts, not India, happened on religious basis. People divided the land on religious basis. Fortunately, we choose to be secular nation, but the other choose to be a religious republic. But not everybody changed side because people have been living there for million years. Not everybody lived their places because somebody drew a line 72 years ago. Whole lot of people did not understand what this line means really. So quite substantial number of them stayed back. Then 1971 war happened and East Pakistan became Bangladesh, and widespread of persecution of minority happened at that time. Nearly 18 to 90% people left and came back to Indian side. Then just got up mixed up with local population, and due to lack of proper arrangement, some are still in refugee camp, unfortunately, sir. It is situation in India. The situation on the other side are entirely different. The individual may always discriminate against each other, which is there in every nation on some basis for race, religious, caste, sex, gender, all kind of discrimination are there, unfortunately, in every society of the planet. We are not completely antiseptic to that. We also have our share of discrimination, but not by law. But on the other side, there are discrimination by law. Women are seriously discriminated on various levels by law. Almost all minority are discriminated by law. On the other side, Hindu marriage is not legal in Pakistan. Can you bet it? So people have been going through this kind of things, this kind of bad thing people are going through. So a trickle of people slowly, when they got over frustrated, they can't live there. They came to, they are coming to India for last few decades. In my opinion, CA is too little compassion, coming too late. So we are populated, all right? We are highly populated. So we do not need millions of people coming from other country, no matter what the situation there. We can't go on taking people. So some cut-off date as for Assam Accord, 1971 was fixed, but it's remained on paper only. Now a cut-off date is 2014. Those who have come before that, that means have been living for country for 10, 20 years without driving license, without passport, without Aadhaar, just like animal. There are no human identity because of controversy that we should accept or we should not accept. He gives justice to them. He merely gives justice to them. When now a question arises by opposition, why only refugees from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh? Undivided India, which include Pakistan, Bangladesh, and current India, and Afghanistan has been territory where there has been a traditional transmigration of population as a consequence of which all of these entities are treated together because they have had relationship in past in some way or other. Therefore, this particular legislature decides to focus in attention to they have been relationship in past two ways and others, though the country of area itself who had been persecuted minority on religious basis. as far as this trade are concerned. And since they have been in India for a last at least of 5 years, dating back from December 31st, 2014. So they are considered for the first purpose of fast tracking of citizenship in India, because you can't send them back. As far as citizenship law and this amendment are concerned, there is no obligation under either constitutional law or under Citizenship Act for government to come out with broad place of encompassing all the inclusive policy under this entirely dependent on security consideration. Why? The moment you do that, you will take into account who are the persecuted community all across the world. This is always done across the case-to-case basis, based on what intelligence bureaus say, based on what security experts say. Now, in conclusion, I think most probably government has failed to communicate this properly. Otherwise, I don't think a single issue in it. But the way it is communicated, certain number of people are perceiving it as a threat to them. Now, Sanjana Kotwani will say against.
Good.
Thank you. As said by the speaker.
Sanjana Kotwani.
Yes, sir.
You take your camera a little back. We can't see you.
Yeah.
A little further away from you or a little higher, so that you are fully visible. Please start.
Okay, go ahead.
Sir, now is it okay?
Yes, ma'am, please.
As my speaker once said that he has already cleared all the segments of the Citizenship Amendment Act, but I would like to highlight on some of the issues which he has simply ignored it, or he has simply excluded from that thing. I would like to just in brief tell about something. Citizenship Amendment, basically it emphasizes on two major amendments to the existing law. First being that in Section 2 includes a provision that amends the definition of illegal immigrants and states that Hindu, Sikhs, Parsis and Jains from Afghanistan. Yes, sir. Is there any?
2 minutes left.
Okay, sir. I'll just find out. I'll just find it out.
Go ahead.
Sir, is my voice so clear?
Yeah.
Yes. Don't break the flow.
So it states that Hindu, Sikhs, Parsis and Jains from Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan who have come to India before 31st December 2014 will not be treated as illegal immigrants. So my question to my opponent is, why only refugees from Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh? If the classification is based on the fact that these countries have a state religion that is Islam, then why not we include Sri Lanka? Because Sri Lanka has a Buddhist state religion and Hindus and Muslims have been coming to India. We have seen in the past that there have been a huge refugee issues during that period, and the classification is only on the countries who are part of the undivided India are to be included. Then why we are including Afghanistan? Apart from that, there is no proper classification and objective to this, and there have been many serious points which have been excluded and which are not included, and it should be highlighted, and it should be clearly stated in this. There had been a massive protest on this, because the law is clearly, black law. The things are not clear, and my opponent already mentioned in that there has been a fault of government to tell the people that what actually is. So it should be clear on the points, and it should has a basis to tell the people then that what actually it is and how actually it has to be implemented. The law has already failed to tell us that what actually it interprets and what actually the procedure of this should be followed and should be there for.
Time over.
Okay, sir. I conclude on this only. Thank you, sir.
What do you have to reply, Gaurav?
Sir, I have already said that why we are including Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh only.
You have
And-
no.
yes, sir, I have already replied undivided
Okay.
India.
Thank you. Thank you. Good. Very nice, both of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You may leave the room. What is the next team?
So we request, sir, the team number 060 to kindly raise their hand. By this, we have a last participant, 060, in this slot number 4. We are requesting team 060 kindly raise their hand.
Yes, please continue.
Team 060, if you are listening, please raise your hand so we can allow the entry. The judges are waiting.
And who is this Bhavna?
Sir, she is from slot 2, team 075.
Then you please. If they are ready, then ask them to join.
Ask 75 to join, 075 to join them. They have been waiting for long. If 60 is not ready. Otherwise, 60 will lose the chance then.
Sir, team 060 Sinmi Gautam is also available.
So
The other one is not available, right? Praful is not here.
Sure, sir. So,
submit 75.
Sure,
without
sir.
wasting much time.
No, where,
the available people, then we'll do that.
060 is available. Ask the both of them to join.
No, sir. Both of members of 75 are now available.
Please
What
ask.
What about 060?
Sir, they came and just left the hand raise mode and disappeared from this platform suddenly.
Okay.
So we have allowed team 075 to enter this mode and we are waiting for them.
Tell them they have been waiting for long.
Kindly turn on your microphone and your camera, please. Yes.
So where is the other one?
Bhavna.
Yes, we are going to accept her invitation.
You are 075 A or B, madam?
A.
Where is B?
She is coming, connecting.
Zero 018, can you hear?
075 B. Why she is not connecting?
Can you hear?
Can you ask your partner what's the issue?
She said she will be connecting soon.
Because we can't
I don't
wait
know what
for
is happening.
judges also time restrictions, and we are also having the teams of the current round.
Actually,
in
ma'am,
waiting mode.
we are running short of time and we need to wind up this session.
This is your third chance.
Yes.
I don't know what problem is she facing.
That is not our concern, no, ma'am. You should understand. You are in a coordinate, right? We can't do anything. If you come,
Team 060. Admit team 6060.
Sure, sir.
if they are there.
Hello, she is.
She's here?
Sir, she just left the room.
Please go on, a time is running. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear.
If team members of 060 and team members of 075 are available, kindly raise your hands.
7-5, both of them are available.
Yes, we have admitted them, waiting for their response. Kindly turn on your microphone and your camera, please.
Bhavna has also joined, please.
We have admitted her also, sir.
Okay.
Waiting for her.
Praful is also there.
It is also requested to team number 060. Please be available.
$75, the other one. Last call for $75, Bhavna.
So Bhavna joined.
Okay.
I request her kindly turn on your microphone and your camera, please.
This is your last opportunity. If you are not able to join, we will not take you anything further.
Yes, sir. I'm really sorry, sir.
Yeah.
No, madam, now you are here.
No issue.
Okay, start. So who is A and who is B?
Who is A?
I'm A.
Yeah, please go ahead. Start.
Who is Paul?
Good afternoon, sir. Sorry for the delay. So I will start. So as we all know that India has always followed the philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means the whole world is one family. So I don't think so CAA has any threat to secular nature of the constitution. It is a constitutionally valid act. So for that, firstly, we have to know what CAA is. Citizenship Amendment Act was passed by the Parliament of India on 11th of December 2019. It amended the Citizenship Act 1955 by providing a pathway for Indian citizenship to illegal immigrants from Afghanistan, Pakistan and Bangladesh, who are Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jain, Parsis and Christians. The main question, the newly amendment Citizenship Act arose question in people's mind that it will deny Muslim citizenship to India. But the fact is that CAA only provides non-Muslim minorities citizenship irrespective of their religion, who have faced religious persecution. And the second most question arise in people's mind is that why CAA only benefiting non-Muslim minorities. So the answer is that it is only benefiting the members who have entered on or before December 2014 in India. And the third important question is that is CAA under CAA will from these three countries illegal immigrant be deported back to their country? So answer is no. C has nothing to do with deporting back to foreigners irrespective of any religion. And the most important question is that is CAA has any link with NRC? So Chief Home Minister had clarified is that there is no connection of NRC with CAA. But after that too, there are formal acceptance of CAA have created very much violence across the country, including Northeast, West Bengal and New Delhi. The national capital was standstill when the violence, when a student protest turned into a violence, making it with clashes with the police and torturing of public buses. Followed by this, police has allowed the 100 Jamia students to be involved in the violence. I don't know why people are comparing it with the leader. It is just a community-based act in which the non-Muslim communities are giving citizenship who are persecuted in these three countries. So by this, I'm ending my side of the debate. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm going to express my views in the against of the motion that CA is not constitutionally
valid and it's against the secular provision of constitution. So first of all, what is CAA? CAA is a law passed by Parliament of India, which says that it will provide citizenship to the non-Muslim community from 3 countries, which are Muslim countries that are Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh. So when we see Pakistan and Bangladesh were earlier part of India, but what about that Afghanistan does not share major border with India? So why it is included? The government says that it provided that citizenship on the basis of humanitarian, that the non-Muslim communities are discriminated in Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. But what about Rohingya Muslims? So it's against vision of classification, which is provided in Article 14, which is equality before law, that every citizen or non-citizens also are equal before law. And it divides the so here the problem is it differentiate between Muslims and non-Muslims, which is totally wrong when we in context of Article 14 and also Article 25. Article 25 is the freedom of religion. It divides. It says that everyone has the right to follow any religion with no restrictions and no rules and regulation. That and in CA it's provided that for the citizenship you should be non-Muslims. Then what about the Muslim communities which are persecuted in Pakistan? The Indians, Muslims who migrated from India to Pakistan during 1947 are discriminated, are not provided equal rights. So what about that Muslim community? And about it and on prima facie, when we see secularism is a part of basic structure, it is mentioned in our preamble. So secularism is a main point, and the government is not allowed to make laws on basic structures. So according to me, CA is not constitutionally valid, and it's against the secular feature of Indian Constitution. And moreover, the as my friend says, protest is a right of Indian citizen has right to right of expression, which is a part of fundamental right. And Indian government is not allowed to make laws against basic structure and basically the fundamental rights. And moreover,
so for that I want to say that if they want citizenship, they can get it by the normal procedure by the Constitution of India. So in my view, the protest was not right and the not right step taken by the students.
Yeah, but if non-Muslims are provided a easy way, that is
they can get it. They can get citizenship by the normal procedure of the. This Citizenship Act was only passed for those who have been religious persecution, faced religious persecution in these 3 countries.
But Rohingya Muslims also face religious persecution.
They can get it by a normal procedure, citizenship by India, Constitution of India.
And moreover, no procedure is laid down in this act that how people will be identified. This is the one of the main provisions, which I feel like it should be clearly mentioned that how people will be.
It is the government outtake how to recognize who is Muslim and who is Hindu and who is other caste.
One more fact.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good. Both of you debated actually.
Thank
Good.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
For the last one.
So, sir, the last team we have is team number 060.
Where is 060?
Both participant A and B. Once the previous team leaves, I'll let them in.
I'll let them in. One.
Sure, sir.
यार प्लीज मैं कुछ तो जीतूं यार.
Zero 6 0. आइए. So only team we have not been able to judge it for 0. No, we are waiting for team 055.
No, sir, 6. We are waiting only for 60.
Okay.
The remaining
Sir,
teams
actually, sir, team number 060 was there in attendees, and we are trying to let them in, and there was no response from team 055. I repeat once again, team 060, kindly raise your hand so that we can admit you as soon as possible.
So what I am saying is that we have not been able to go through team 041 and team 055, correct? Sir, are you listening to me?
Yeah, sir.
Sir, what I am saying is that we have not seen team 041.
41 in the first slot.
Correct.
And 55 in the third slot.
Correct, sir. Yes.
And 60 is as of now missing in the fourth slot.
Exactly. Correct.
Please confirm, coordinators, please confirm. I can at least inform my students. I may spare another 5 minutes with you.
Sure, sir. I'll confirm the same matter.
Sir, students are waiting in his college, na? He had time from 3 o'clock.
Anyway, I'm scheduling the meeting now. Actually, one device is used here. The other device has to be now used.
Correct. We also do the same way. We keep one iPad here, one.
Actually, life has become.
We are running short of time. I request last team 060. If you are there, kindly raise your hand. Otherwise, we'll come to end of this event now. Kindly raise your hand if you are there or attending this session. We'll admit you as soon as possible.
So the judges can send the.
No request pending. There is nobody in the attendee. Who is 044A? Why is he still there? Oh, he's watching other participants.
Sir, if no response is there with your due permission, we can end this session now.
Yes,
yeah.
On repeated trials, there is no response from team 060, team 55, team 41.
Okay, sir.
And what about the score sheet? We will email to you.
Score sheet, can we email it to you? Or I take a photo and because I've taken the hard copy.
Yeah, I think we will respond to that email.
Yes,
sir.
सर आप फोन पे भी सेंड कर सकते हैं, मेल भी कर सकते हैं हमें फोन पे.
Thank you.
Phone.
Sir, on the behalf of the CLS Gibbs, we extend a hearty thanks for your precious time which you spared from a busy schedule for the event. We are highly grateful, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you so much, sir. Nice meeting you. Let's keep in touch.
I'll text you after the class.
Sure, sir. My pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.